It's not normal to wake up with crippling anxiety about normal everyday activities. I want to remind you that you are not strange. You are not a weirdo for feeling the way that you do when everyone else is pretending that everything is okay and it's not. I know I'm not alone in this, but it's genuinely a little alarming the way we've normalized having constant access, and when other people expect constant access to other people, to yourself, it's just weird. We have email, we have text, we have social media, we have multiple different social medias, we have our regular phone calls. And it's just a lot. There are so many avenues for communication which are amazing, but now it's to the point where it feels like you constantly have to be on. If someone texts you, you feel like you need to respond. If you get a DM, you get an email, you feel like you need to respond right then and there. If you take a day or two, it's almost as seen as disrespectful. I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely been in this situation where I've gotten a text message to my phone. I did not have the capacity to attend to that text message. I still wanted to be on my phone because it's my phone and I pay for it. So they might see me scrolling on social media, and then that becomes a different thing where it's like, you saw me text you, why didn't you respond? When the whole time, either I just didn't feel like texting, I wasn't in a capacity to text, or whatever my reasoning is, but I'm allowed to live my life. Social media has made it so that we're able to see what other people around the world are doing. We're able to see how people are living their day-to-day lives, but we've got conditioned to it so much where it feels like you're lacking. It feels like you're not doing enough. Seeing people's everyday life all the time, being fed that constant content of what people are eating in the day, what people are doing, how people are shopping all the time is not normal. We are probably the first generation who's had to deal with this, and I know for a fact there are going to be documentaries and studies done in the future about how this affected our brains, how this has affected our emotions, how this has affected our everyday lives, being in constant contact with people, seeing what people are doing all the time. And it's not intentional, but always being on social media, first thing you do when you wake up, you're on Instagram, you're looking what people are posting, you look at what people are buying. You are subconsciously comparing yourselves to other people non-stop, and it's not normal. If you want to break out of this matrix, if you want to become the person you said you were going to be and break out of the constant need of feeding into this machine, this is the video for you. Humans are not supposed to live like this. Humans are not supposed to always have constant contact, to be on 24/7. The reason you feel depressed, the reason you feel anxious, the reason why you feel like you're not doing good enough can easily be directly linked to social media and this new form of communication that we've normalized globally. You should watch this video if you're finding yourself feeling anxious as soon as you wake up in the morning, if you find yourself feeling anxious when you get an email, if you're getting text messages that you haven't responded to, if you feel bad for using the phone that you pay for just for leisure and someone messages you or you get a notification and now you feel bad for using the device that you bought for yourself, this is the video for you. I saw this video that perfectly described what I'm feeling and what I'm talking about and inspired me to make this video because I totally agree.
A mental condition for people that find it really overwhelming to answer messages.
I am so glad she asked us. That video is asking if there's a name for the mental condition where you become so overwhelmed with text messages or emails and everything that you just can't answer any of them. And yes, there is an answer to this, which is that the way you're being asked to live right now is objectively insane. And when I say objectively, I mean that in the entire time this species has existed, no one was ever asked to be on call 24 hours a day to everyone who knew them. That has never happened before. Nothing in your brain has evolved to maintain that level of contact. Nothing in the culture has evolved to teach you how to deal with that level of contact. Kids, do you understand that even when I was in college, if you left the house to go to class, to go to school, to go out to eat, to go on vacation, you were totally cut off. If you were in the car, it was literally impossible for anyone to contact you. That means that well into my adulthood, it was understood that the only people who had to stay on call all the time, the people who had back then, it would be pagers or very primitive cell phones. They were very specific professionals who had extreme high-pressure jobs. Go watch an old movie from the 80s. If they ever show a guy on a phone in his car, he has the type of job where he's always 1 minute away from having a heart attack. Like, it's portrayed as being an objectively high-stress, high-pressure way to live, that no normal person would ever do that. When I was a teenager, the only way to contact a friend was to call their house and their parents would answer. And if they weren't home, you would have to leave a message with the parents, meaning the parents would just remember what you said and tell them when they got home. And it was routine for them to not get back to you, and it was no big deal unless you were calling about some kind of an emergency. So as recently as, say, 20 years ago, to be a friend who contacted someone and then demanded they instantly respond no matter where they were or what they were doing, that would have been considered pathological behavior. Like, that was true for the entire time civilization has existed on planet Earth until a couple of decades ago. So yes, you find it stressful and overwhelming to try to maintain that level of contact. Everyone should. It's weird that some people don't.
This topic just like really sits near and dear for me because I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I wasn't normal for not being able to handle this really intense pressure that everyone is seemingly just ignoring or acting like it's normal, and it's just not normal to constantly be in communication with people all the time, to constantly be expected to give replies in 20 minutes, 5 minutes, like, oh, she got it, I know it was delivered, she received it. It's just not normal. It's not a normal way to be social with people. It's not a normal way to work with people, and it's not a normal way to live day to day with yourself. In the video that I just showed you guys, I thought a great example was in movies in the 90s, as early as the 2000s, even sometimes in the early 2010s. The only people you saw on call the way we all are today were people with extremely high stress jobs, with people who needed to be on call 24/7. Now you can work any job. If you have a Microsoft app, if you have Slack, if you have Teams, you're expected to be on all the time. If you got an email, you are expected to answer within those 2 minutes. Now that we have all this constant communication, people are stretching their expectations of people. I personally get so overwhelmed with text messages from friends, and I know like it's all love, but like sometimes I do have certain friends that don't understand that sometimes I want to be on my phone just to relax. I don't feel like answering questions. I'm not in a capacity to have a conversation. Back in the day, if you wanted to have a scheduled hangout with someone, if you wanted to vent, if you wanted to talk to someone, you would set up a dinner date. You would, let's go get lunch, we'll talk about it. You would schedule that for a time where you would be in the right mental capacity. Now you can have a friend who goes through something right now and they have access to you, but what if you are not in the right state to reply? What if you're not in the mood or have the capacity to be the type of person they need you to be right then and there? I kept on getting these messages from people who weren't understanding my boundaries, that I was being selfish, that I was being rude, I was disrespecting them. And I always just felt weird about it because I was like, in my mind, I'm doing what's best for me right now. I don't really consider it selfish because yeah, you texted me tonight, but I put my phone down. I'm no screen time right now. And yeah, I heard the notification, but I told myself I don't want to be on my screen right now. So I'll text you in the morning when I am in the mood to text, when I am in the mood to communicate. Those are my boundaries that I've put in place. And sometimes people are just not comfortable with going outside the norm, especially if you are born within the 2000s of any point. You know that we kind of just grew up with this technology. But before, like the person in the video said, if you were not home, you did not have access to your phone or to be communicating with. And even if you were home, you got to choose when you wanted to communicate. It was totally up to you. Now you can go on a date with someone, and if they see you scrolling on social media, they're gonna be upset that you didn't text them back. They're gonna be upset that you didn't give them a call back. And it's like, I didn't even get to think about how I felt about the date, where I am. Like, give me a second. We're just so go, 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 and it's not normal. And I want you to know that if you feel this way at all, that you are seen and you are heard. The more and more we progress as a society, you can tell what things are affecting who and what. There is a reason why our generation is riddled with so much depression, why kids are finding anxiety at younger ages. It's because of the new societal norms that we've put in place. Now that we've addressed the way that we're living is not normal, I want to give some tips about how you can exit this matrix, how you can create a new normal for yourself and not feel the burdens of this new society and the new norms that we have created. This is our year. We are becoming our best selves. There's still some time left in 2024. I know you can be the person that you set out to be, so it's time to go ghost. If you need to cut off some people who aren't respectful of your boundaries, you do that. If you know there are people that you love being around, but you're just not focused when you're around them, you're not focused when they're communicating to you, you're always texting in between the time that you say you're gonna work or time that you say you're going to build this new career, apply to jobs. My camera keeps on overheating. It's not even summer anymore, but it is what it is. Anyways, you need to go ghost and you need to do what's best for you. If you have people in your life who will not respect your boundaries, then that is indicative of who you need to keep in your life and who you need to keep at a certain distance, because this era, this journey that you are on is specifically just for you. The people you're hanging out with, the people that you're having these conversations with, in 5 years from now, if you do or don't have the things that you said you wanted to have, are these conversations going to matter? Are these people going to matter? You really need to do some digging into your own life and see what's best for you. You don't need to be in constant communication with everyone. If there's somebody that's texting you and you only have the capacity to reach out to them once a week, that's what it is, and you don't need to feel bad about it. The second tip I have to getting to a new normal within the normal that we've created is to reduce that screen time. You don't need to be on your phone 24/8. I am still so guilty of this. Sometimes I'll pick up my phone for a specific thing and I'll find my fingers just automatically find itself looking for Instagram. Right now, I have the Instagram app deleted on my phone. I have some things already scheduled just so I can be on top of the things I said I was going to be on top of. But I found myself, if I had my phone in my hand, out of nowhere, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter would just be opened. And I would accidentally spend 20 minutes, accidentally spend 40 minutes, which would turn into an hour, which could easily be 2 hours. And that's time in my day that I could be pouring back into myself, refocusing and getting some other tasks done. Reading a book, doing something that's actually stimulating for me, that does something conducive for the growth of me. Watching people every day is not conducive to your growth. Watching random videos on TikTok is not conducive for your growth. Trust me, I know what a TikTok hole is. Sometimes it can be super fun. You get that quick dopamine, it feels good. But that's hours of your day being taken away by an app screen time. And that's just not normal. Sometimes I think to myself, if I had like a camera watching me, they would just see me laying in the same position for hours, scrolling, sitting in the same position for hours, neck like this, because I'm just on my phone being fed all this content when I could be in the world doing something productive, doing something for myself, relaxing for myself, giving my eyes a break from all that blue light. All that to say, reduce your screen time. If you're feeling anxious, a lot of depression, whatever feelings are coming along, I hate to be that person, but it's because of that phone. Like, our parents were right. Get off that phone. I know we touched on this briefly, but I want to also talk about detachment. You are stepping into a new era that is meant for you, that is meant to be helping you become the best version of you. You are stepping into a space where you're trying to connect the old version of you to the new version of you, and you want to bridge that gap. So you have to detach yourself from the old version of you so you can fully become the new version. And it's really, really hard because yes, that means not everybody can come on this journey with you. Yes, that means that you have to put in the work and be your own parent and say, hey, I can't continue to do these habits. These habits are holding me back. Yeah, I like doing these habits. Yeah, you don't see a problem with it. But if you know that they're holding you back, if you know it's taking time out of your day where you could be doing something else, you could be more productive, it has to go. You have to say the hard yeses and the hard nos. There's certain things, habits, lifestyles that cannot come with you in order for you to reach your full potential. You know that, I know that, I'm currently living in it right now, and it's not easy. This road to success, this road to becoming your best self is not going to be easy, but future you is possible. Future you can exist. Current you just has to do some things to help you get there. For an example, as you guys know, or if you don't know, I have my own waist bead business. I had to do certain things, cut out certain lifestyles that I had that were preventing me from focusing on my business. How am I supposed to go to vendor events? How am I supposed to network with people, tell people my business if I'm going to the club every weekend? If I'm Friday night, I was at the club, so Saturday morning, I can't go to this business event. I can't do this. I had to cut those things out of my life. And I'm not saying completely, obviously, if your girl was gonna go out, she's gonna go out, she's gonna have a good time. But it can't be every weekend. It can't be majority of my weekends. It can't be those are my plans all the time to the point where I can't fit other things in. You're gonna have to get rid of parts of your old life to connect to this new life. A different example can be my YouTube channel. I can't hang out with my friends every single day if I want to spend time filming, if I want to spend time thinking of ideas, creating ideas that I want to put out in there. If I need to edit, I can't hang out with people every single day. From coming from a college experience and actually living on campus with all of my friends, easier said than done. Moving out of college was like, yeah, let's hang out, let's do this. I had my friends basically living with me. There was not a day that I did not see my friends. But now it's different. I have different goals. I want to reach those goals, and it's no hate to my loved ones, it's no hate to those friends, but I need to spend my time doing something different because I want to reach that future self that I know is out there for me, and I know I can become her. It's okay if you need to detach from certain lifestyles, certain people, certain connections, because you know what's best for you. You are still winning as long as you stay in the race. That's it. Like, there is no timeline that you need to reach it there by, but as long as you stick to the things that you say you're going to do, if you continue to put the work in, you will eventually be successful. You just need to put yourself in a place to get there. I'll keep on saying this until the wheels fall off. Waking up with crippling anxiety, not normal. Depressive, manic episodes multiple times a year, recurring, is not normal, especially if you have not been diagnosed or have a depressive diagnosis. It's just not normal. The pressure to always be on, always answer emails, always answer text messages, DMs, whether that be for friends, whether it be for work, romantic relationships, new connections with people. It's not normal to constantly feel like you need to respond as soon as somebody calls you. It's almost the same if you're a girl, then you would understand. That's like responding to like if you're walking down the street and you get catcalled. You know how many times you'd have to stop in the middle of your day to your destination because you got catcalled so many times? You don't need to respond when certain people reach out. You don't need to respond every time certain people reach out. And you don't need to respond as soon as people reach out is my biggest takeaway. If you get anything from this, it's that you need to do what is best for you. Some people might call it selfish. I'm personally going to call it respecting your boundaries and envisioning the person that you want to be. I can't imagine somebody like Beyonce, Shonda Rhimes, Issa Rae being held to the same standards that everybody else is being held at, which is always being on, always communicating. Before, in the example of the TikTok video, we saw how he used the example of people with very strenuous jobs, people with very high stress careers would be the ones who are always on the go, where it's now the people with the high strenuous jobs, the CEOs, the people who should be on call all the time and people who should have that pressure, they don't have that pressure. Now it's the people who shouldn't be on call all the time. If your end time from work is 5 p.m., you should be done with work at 5 p.m. I don't care if you have access to email on your phone now. Take it off. Take all those work apps off your phone if you can and leave work at work. Have time for social. Set time aside for social when you're supposed to be social, when you have energy for that. But being on call for all different sectors of life at all times of the day is not normal, and it's okay to recognize that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this resonated with you in any way. If you are experiencing high stress, high anxiety because of what our new normal is, I want you to know that you're not alone and that you are seen, you are heard, and to take some of the tips I mentioned. I'm obviously not a professional, so I don't know what the best guides are, and we are all living through this era of time for the first time together. So I really want to build a community of sisters. I want to create resources and leave resources for people to access if they need. So if you have any tips, if you have anything to add to this conversation, let me know in the comments. If you feel opposite the way I feel and you think there's something different about these topics that should be said, let me know how you guys feel about this. Like, do you think it's normal to always be on call when you're dating? Do you think it's normal to add someone on Instagram and then they're always watching your every move or through your stories or whatever it is that you post on social media? Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, leave this video a big fat thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you'd like to sit down, chat with me some more, subscribe, join the tribe. We have a lot of fun here. As I mentioned, I also do have a waist bead business, so if you are interested in getting some beautiful, handmade, handcrafted, authentic African waist beads, click the link below and see what we have in store for you. I will see you guys in the next video.